So today we're going to be talking about the equation of circles in standard form. And let me start with an objective one. Objective 1. In student-friendly language, I can extract the center and the radius from the equation of a circle written in the standard form. So let me zoom in on that so you can see what it is that we're doing. It's very wordy, but don't you worry about it. I'll break this down for you. Okay. I'm going to start this off with a concept or just, my famous an essential question. And here it is. Question. What is the standard form of the equation of a circle? Question mark. What is the standard form of the equation of a circle? And I'm going to answer that. And this kind of drives the lesson for today. And the answer is, standard form looks like this. You ready? You ready? You ready? Open parentheses, x minus h, quantity squared. That means this is anything in the parentheses is a quantity. Quantity squared plus open parentheses y minus k, quantity squared, and that equals r squared. Where W-H-E-R-E. Y'all ready for this? The center is H, comma K, and radius equals R. Copy that down. Then I'll give you a concrete example, and I don't think you'll feel so bad. Right now, it looks like a foreign language, but don't you worry about it. I'm going to show you what it means and how to use it in the context of the test you're going to be taking at the end of the school year. So copy that now. Copy, copy, copy. So for the first time in your lives, you're going to have an equation where both the x and the y are both being squared. And with a plus sign in between, that makes it a circle. The center is HK, and the radius is r. So if you're wondering, well, okay, what does that mean? Let me give you an example. I think an example might help clarify this for you. An example of a question would be like, find the center and the radius for, and then the equation might look like this. X minus 4 quantity squared plus y plus 5 quantity squared equals 36. Okay, copy that down. Copy it down so I could show you without worrying about copying it. Are you copying? Are you copying? Did you copy? Did you copy? Did you copy? Okay. All right, kids, check this out. Let me explain something to you, okay? This is the standard form of an equation of a circle. And to find the center, to find the coordinate of the center, the coordinate, do you know that a coordinate is like an xy coordinate? You know, a coordinate has two components to it. It's got an x and a y for the x-axis and the y-axis. Do you remember that? Well, to find the center, I'm really asking you to find a coordinate. And if you want to know what the xy coordinate is, the x component goes first because they call it an ordered pair. Pair means two, order means in alphabetical order. So the x goes first, the y goes second, because think of the alphabet, x, y. The alphabet goes x, y, z in alphabetical order. So if you want to know the x coordinate, look at the quantity that contains the x. Which one of these two quantities contains an x? The first one here or the second one there? The first one. So if you want to know the x coordinate, let's go to the x quantity, and we read that as x minus 4. Well, the trick is, the x coordinate is going to be the opposite. So if you read that as x minus 4, think to yourself, what's the opposite of minus 4? Positive 4. Now, if you want to know what the y coordinate is going to be, go to the y quantity and read it. It says y plus 5. Now, what's the opposite of plus 5? So the center has an x and a y, but notice that the y value of the coordinate is opposite of whatever is inside the quantity. And notice the x coordinate is the opposite of whatever is in the x quantity. And it will always be like that, and it never ever changes. Now, that's how you find the center. Because if you go back to the objective, it says, I can extract. What does extract mean? Take away or take out. Exactly. So I could look at this equation and I could extract from that equation the center. Any questions with that? Okay. So now the radius. I got news for you. The radius is a little tricky because in the equation, this value on the other side, that is not the radius. That is the radius squared. So when you look at this right here, and you compare that to the value over here, that is not the radius. That's the radius squared. So the radius is in the equation, but not directly. That's the radius squared. But the radius itself, you could find by taking the square root of both sides. Because if you want to know the radius, how do you get rid of a square? Square root and square root. So whenever you square root a value that is squared, you just get the value. And I know I don't have the calculators out, but the square root of 36 means what number multiplied by itself gives you 36. And somebody called it out 6. Thank you. So the radius is 6. So the radius is hidden right there. It's the square root of that number. Now you can find the center and the radius. And isn't that what objective 1 asks you to do? Let me give you another example that we could do together. Because it could be kind of frightening at first. Okay? If x plus 3 squared sorry plus y minus 7 squared equals 9, find the center find the radius. So let's find the center. It's going to be a coordinate. Now think about think about it. All coordinates have two parts. It has an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate, an x-component and a y-component. If you want to dig those out of this equation, just think of opposites. Remember, x goes first, y goes second, all the time, forever. So what do you think is the x-coordinate of the center? -3. Because if you want to find it, you go to the x quantity, which is right here. And as you read this as x plus 3, the opposite of x plus 3 is what? And then for the y-coordinate, let's find the y. And then it's y minus 7. So what do you think you put for the center? Positive center, 7. By the way, how many of you got that before I started running? Okay, 2 of you, 3, 4. Now the radius. Now remember, that's where you get the radius, but that is not the radius. In the equation, that value is the radius squared. The radius squared equals 9. That's the radius squared. So all you got to do is look at this and say, what's the square root of 9? Because if you want to find the radius, square root both sides. So what's the radius? 3. Why? Because 3 times 3 is 9. Radius is 3. Copy that down. If you have a question, you can ask. You can ask. Okay, here's what you do. Y'all ready? Find the center and radius of, wait for it, x minus 10 squared plus y minus 9 squared equals, oh, I'm sorry, hello. So I want you to find the center. Then I want you to state the radius. Okay, that's a you do. I'll give you a couple seconds here. Oh. Okay, so I see a lot of you stopped writing. Would anyone like to volunteer their answer? I see one hand. Raise your hand if you think you know the answer. Raise your hand if you think you know but you don't want to answer. Okay, so what is the first value right here? 10. Yeah, because if you want to know the x-coordinate, look at the x-quantity. What's the opposite of minus 10? Positive 10. You want to know the y value? Look at the y quantity. What's the opposite of minus 9? 9. And the radius? It's 5. Thank you. I heard you back there. Who said that? Way to go. Raise your hand if that's what you got. Okay, now that's the majority of you, but hold on a second. Does anyone have a question? No, I got that. Would anyone like to see one more example? Just one more. Okay, one more, and then we're going to do something else. Okay, one more example. Find the center and radius of, you ready for this one? X plus 7 plus y plus 12 equals 4. I want the center and the radius of that circle that's in standard form. Go for it. You know what? I just realized I could pause this while they're writing. All right, I'm going to ask, who would like to volunteer their answer for the center? Okay, I did see your hand first, so Sam Petit, go. A negative 12. Beautiful. Who would like to volunteer their answer for the radius? Okay, I saw your hand first.
2.
It's 2. Beautiful. Raise your hand if you got negative 7, negative 12, and radius is 2. What? Say, okay, who got it wrong and would like an explanation? Andros? Did you get it right or wrong? Okay, but you got to raise your hand and let me know. All right, I got a challenge for you. You ready? If you could do this one, ooh, I'm not even going to teach this to you. Okay, I'm not even going to teach this to you. Let me just add this, okay? You ready? Here it is. Objective 2. I'm going to give you the objective. In student-friendly language, I can write the, oops, I'm going in the hole there. I can write the equation of a circle in standard form when given the center and the radius of the circle. Okay, here's the example. Example. Okay, let me back out so you could actually read it. I can write the equation of a circle in standard form when they give me the center and they give me the radius. Okay, so example. Given the center, negative 6, 4, and radius equals 7, write the equation in standard what? Form. In standard form. That's sloppy, but there it is. If I have the center at negative 6, 4, I get the radius of 7. Write the equation in standard form. Don't call it out, just try to write it. I'll give you a hint. Okay, I'll give you a couple seconds to chew on that for a minute there. Okay, so we're kind of working backwards here. Remember, in the first parenthesis goes an x. And did anyone know what comes after the x? Oh, Sam, you had your hand. That's okay. What'd you put? Yes. Because the value that's in the x position is a negative 6. That's actually your h value. They want the opposite of h. So if h is negative 6, then you put plus 6. Close the parenthesis, and what do I put? Squared, the 2. Then I put open parenthesis. Y minus 4 quantity squared equals what? Be really careful, because in the equation, it's not the radius, it's the radius squared. Look up there. Now remember, if the radius is 7, when you square r, you square the 7. So the radius squared is 49, because 7 squared really means 7 times 7. So you got to square it. Guess what this value is? It's the radius squared, which is 49. Because they're telling you the radius is 7, so 7 times 7 is 49, and that's the correct answer. How many of you got that mostly right? That's amazing. Can we do one more? Because we're almost done. I mean, seriously, for today. Here's another example. Try this. Now, I just want to reiterate. We put x plus 6 because in the x position that was negative 6, and those are always the opposite. And then we put x minus 4 because in the y position that's positive 4, so in the equation it's minus 4. And the radius is 7, so we just say 7 times 7 is 49, and that because that's r squared. Okay, so here it is. Write the equation in standard form if the center is negative 8, negative 12, and the radius is 2. Go for it. I'm going to pause this. So, okay. So, let me hear from somebody else who would like to share their answer. Who have I not heard from today? Okay. Oops, hold on a second. I don't know what I just did there. Sorry. Yeah, okay, x. Ooh, he got it right, and John. Squared, good job. Plus 12 squared. Great job so far. He's right. Absolutely stunning. Equals. Nailed it. Nailed it. Because in the equation, that's squared. Last one. And then I'm going to show you something. State the center and radius. if x plus 13 squared plus y minus 17 squared equals 64. Now I don't have the calculators out, but we're going to find the center. We're going to find the radius. Okay, and I'll pause this. That's the last one I'm going to do. Okay, so would anyone raise your hand if you'd like to share what your center is? Someone I haven't heard from yet. Andros, what's the center? Wonderful. Perfect. Anybody want to?
8.
What is the radius?
8.
It is 8, actually. Because remember, in the equation, that's not the radius. That's the radius squared. The radius squared equals 64. So your job was to say, oh, just take the square root of that. What's the square root of 64? 8, because 8 times 8 is 64. Okay, I'm going to pause this right here for 2 seconds. And don't forget, we are going to finish this up tomorrow, so don't be absent. All right, thank you.